This is SoulCharge, the podcast for women leaders to take the highest level of ownership of their power to create results now. I'm your host, Stacy B. Let's dive in. There is something very interesting happening in leadership, and it's something that I am so passionate about bringing awareness to, bringing simplicity around, and bringing a conversation around in a way that we can actually start to see the truth of what we're doing so that we can move away from the chaos and the conflict and the loss of energy. And I want to speak to that for a minute because what I am truly passionate about is, yes, bringing this level of awareness, right? This level of, if we can see and be free, we are able to move more efficiently through the world. But what is behind that I want to explain in a little more detail is that when I want to bring your attention to something, it's because you are probably losing energy, time, and resources because the way you're moving through the world is more complicated than it needs to be. And my passion is to make complex things, complex problems, complex situations simple. Because the truth of the matter is that we only have so much energy every day. We only have so much, energy towards what we want to do. And to regenerate that energy and to use it intentionally requires that we start to look at the things that are really draining our energy. And with all of the amazing, longevity things that are available to us and like optimization tools that are available to us, the bottom line is that there is this untouched piece to unlocking your energy that I wanted to start this episode with today because it's easy to go right into leadership lessons, right? It's easy to go right into how can we transform our inner state to be more effective in the boardroom. But what we have to realize is that all of the effort that we are putting forth, not stepping into all of who we are unconsciously, is massively draining our energy. And if you are finding that you're not saying what you want to say, or you're not expressing yourself in a way that is totally aligned, what you have to own is that you are massively compromising the energy allotted to you every day. Your life force sits beneath compromise. And if you simply decided today that, you know what, I'm going to be fully expressed in my truth, that will unleash a level of energy that you don't even realize is sitting beneath the surface. And so while we're talking about alignment and the results that naturally follow externally, what you have to know is that alignment is a two-prong game. It is a multifaceted game. And that game is that your alignment and you speaking your unbound truth also frees up an internal power that you are currently not tapping into. That alignment externally also sets a whole bunch of things in motion, but I wanted to start this episode really highlighting that so that as we continue the conversation today, you are thinking about the things. This is what I want you to think about. I want you to think about the things in your life where there's chaos. And I want you to ask this singular question. Am I fully expressed in that area, or am I holding back? Because I guarantee that you are holding back in some way in areas where there is chaos right now, where something isn't happening exactly how you want it to. We can boil it down to some level of compromise. And what we do in SoulCharge is we very much are looking for the contradiction, right? And that's another word I want you to think about is like, where are you contradicted in your life? Because if you are holding a desire for something and you are not acting towards it daily, my friend, that is a contradiction. That is you not self-expressed. That is you settling, and you are wasting a ton of life force energy, and you are also compromising how easy success can come to you. And so today's episode is really diving deeper into this conversation of the difference between authorship and responsibility. And I want to define this for you because it's so profound and it can very much crack open what might be a next level opening for you, a next level conversation, a next level opportunity that's just behind door number 3 is the difference between responsibility and authoring. And so when I talk about authoring, I am talking about a level of authority and directing your desire and the actions that follow to ensure fulfillment of what you stand for in a way that is totally aligned with being in your authority. Responsibility, if we simply break it down, and I love breaking things down for you from a words perspective, is that responsibility is the ability to respond. And so look at your leadership. I love this conversation so much with you because it's like, look at this simple use of words of authority and responsibility, authorship and responsibility. Responsibility is you responding to life, which means that someone else is driving, you guys. Responsibility is I'm responsible for this team. I'm responsible for these outcomes. I'm responsible to the world, to give the world what they want. And what I want you to lead with is your authority. It is insane. I am here to tell you, the most successful leaders that you are appreciating, admiring from afar, the leaders that I work with, they are not totally in their authority because they're so big and successful already that they think if they actually show up in all of their authority, it's going to be too much. And I bet you in your way are struggling with that too in some way because you inherently know and you can feel, and I want you to just feel into this with me as you listen. You inherently are playing small in some area because you don't believe that the bigness of what you are, what you want, is allowed, is okay, is acceptable by family, people around you, whoever. And we need to blow that cap off because here's what I want you to hear, is that your ability to step into authoring your life on your terms is what everyone actually needs from you. But beyond that, because I don't want it to be about that, beyond that is that when you are in your authority, all of the dissonance that's created by the compromise of your authority goes away. I want you to hear this. When you are in your total, unapologetic authoring of your life on your terms, what you're going for, what you're going towards, when you are in that authority, when you are calling the shots, when you are writing the story of your own life, it neutralizes conflict, chaos, and compromise. When you are in responsibility and you're doing things because you think you have to and because the world has told you that's what you do, you create chaos, conflict, and compromise. When you are in your authority, there is a level of precision to your energy throughout the day. You will see it in your calendar. You'll see it in how you batch activities. You will see it in how you show up to meetings and clients. There's a level of precision, and that is how you know you are in your authority. Let's talk about that for a minute. How do I know what a level of precision looks like, feels like? So when I talk about a level of precision being in authorship, it feels very much aligned. It feels that you are almost, I love giving this example. You're at a restaurant, and when the waitress server comes, they ask you what you want, you order with confidence, and you wait for your meal. More times than not, right? Yes, sometimes they're out of the thing that you're ordering, but the point is that there is not any hesitation. You want that cheeseburger, you order it, it's on its way. There's a level of precision in that simple example because what's not happening is any compromise, right? You want to eat what you want to eat, and it is moving forward per your instruction. That's what authority feels like, right? And so in what authority is not, is you're not softening requests. You're not saying to your team, oh, if you can get to this, if you can get to it by, oh, what works for you, right? It's like that isn't authority. Being direct is authority. And here's the thing is that especially women, but it's men too, we have felt like to leave room for other people, we need to not be in our authority. If we're too direct, there's not space for creativity and innovation and all of that. But I am here to tell you we have it backwards. We actually have it backwards. And the thing that we have backwards is that you have to realize that the world, your team, your family, everyone in your life, but especially you have a very clear picture of how you want things to go. And when you do not communicate that clearly, there is a gap in the entire puzzle of your life that you are passive aggressively asking someone else to show up and fill, but they will never ever fill. And so it's kind of like your job as the leader is to have the authorship of the vision and where we're going and what that looks like. And when you don't do that, you actually are abdicating your power and creating an incomplete puzzle, but then holding it against your team or the situation and creating some chaos when actually it's you. It's you that isn't showing up fully in your authority, fully in the design of how you want things to go. You know exactly how you want them to go. And this is the dissonance. You know, I always like to bring to you the logic, the external application with what's happening energetically. And here's the thing. When you are not clear and direct in what you want and desire, whether it is with your marriage, your relationship, your spouse, your partner, whether it is with your leadership team, the business, whether it's with your stockholders, like no matter who it is with, when you are not clear in what you want, what that does is it creates an inconsistent energetic Wi-Fi signal into the field. And so when you are in your authority and you are direct, there is a speed of deciding and moving that I've talked to you about many times that has an energetic force that calls in opportunities to you in your authority. And so I am here to tell you that if you take this episode and you hear it and you apply it, your life is going to change, not next week, but immediately. Because there is this untouched soil within you, within your leadership, within how you're showing up, that on some level, you may believe that you can't have exactly what you want, or you have to sacrifice peace for profit, or you have to, in this season, sacrifice X for Y. And that's actually not being in your authority. When you are in your authority, there is a level of precision. There is a level of, this is what I want, and there's no negotiating with it. There is no fudging with it. There's no back and forth. And I think that because we have been in this past era of leadership, right? We're moving into this new era of success and what that really looks like. This past of how we were programmed was very much around being responsible to everyone. And at the end of the day, feeling empty or dissatisfied or feeling like, oh my gosh, I've built this incredible business. There's so much profit. I could literally sell it. I could scale it. I could have the employees buy it. There are so many possibilities. Or for those of you that may have sold the business and you feel like a complete level of disconnect with yourself. You may even feel like, why have I done all of this? Like a level of hopelessness. All of that is because you've lost connection to your authority. And when we can connect back to that and stop moving through the world in responsibility, it actually eliminates chaos and compromise and conflict. Now, when you are in your authority and you show up to your team and you are clear in the direction and the vision and where you're going, here's what gets picked up on. Your team, your key leaders, your environment gets the permission slip to also operate in that way. Think about the dysfunction in teams. Think about how many team members are self-sacrificing themselves. How freeing it would be to see their leader showing up in direct communication, clear in what you desire, clear in the direction that we're going. In that authority, they get to see a model of the new era of leadership, and this is your responsibility. This is your duty to be able to see where you are in dissonance and shift into resonance and to shift into the power that you really have, which is not just driving these external practical topics forward, but seeing the connection between the two, seeing the connection between if you are not in your authority, you are actually creating chaos in your life, family, and business. When you are not in your authority, you are creating chaos energetically. How do we shorten the gap between where you are and what you want? You step into that precision, into that level of authority, and call the shots. You may have felt that you don't have the ability to call the shots exactly how you want. And I am here dropping this episode to free you of that limiting thought, that limiting perspective. This chapter for you, listen closely, is about you stepping into the truth of who you are, which is this. You get to define the rules. You get to define exactly how it goes. And it's the biggest gift you have to give to yourself and to humanity. Humanity being your relationships, your business, and everything, your clients, everyone that you serve. You being unapologetically you. You being in your authority. You stepping into that energy field, because that is the reality. If you think of responsibility and authority as I've defined it in this episode, responsibility is very much an indebted energy, right? I'm responsible to this person. I'm responsible. I am required to be able to respond to the situation versus drive it, versus direct it, versus lead it, right? That has an indebted kind of energy. It has like an obligation type energy, right? Like authority is, this is what I stand for. This is who I am. This is what this looks like. Come with me. I can see the path. I don't know every step, but I know that I'm going to figure it out, and we're going to figure it out together. You're talented where I'm not. I'm talented where you're not. Like, we get to bring this together as a team. Authority has an energy of clarity, of purpose, of intention. When we look at energy and we look at what kind of situations do you think you're going to attract when you're in clarity, intention, and purpose? Probably like type partners, like type clients, like-minded individuals. What kind of situations are you going to call in when you're indebted, when you're in obligation? You can even feel in my resonance and the tone in my voice. You can hear the difference in the energy levels, right? Obligation versus purpose versus clarity. And this episode, what I want you to walk away with is to first bring a level of truth to yourself to see, where have I been in my authority and where have I been in responsibility? I want you to reflect on that. And then what I want you to do is I want you to uplevel everything into authority, because this is the game that you get to change today. This is the conversation that you get to uplevel today. The ability to manifest, the ability to call in energetic matches to who you be is completely dependent on this topic. If you are in the calling the shots energy, you are going to manifest what you want and quickly. If you are in responsibility energy, you are going to be in more of a drag your feet type energy and take the crumbs where they land because you're in obligation. And it's kind of like, let's just take what we can here. This is your chapter to claim what is yours. This is your chapter to stand in your position. This is your chapter to claim your authority. It isn't a process, it is a decision. And it is a decision for you to make today. Are you loving SoulCharge? If so, hit the subscribe button, leave a review, and share an episode. We want to bring powerful content to women leaders each week so that women can be unleashed to create the results that they want now. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next week.